weeks ago on Monday Night Football, the Kansas City Chiefs romped over the Buffalo Bills. They dominated the game with the basics of football. It's the way they've been winning all season long. He's known as the Nigerian Nightmare. A devastating 260-pound running back named Christian Okoye. Freeze the Raiders and the Chiefs on ABC's Monday Night Football.
Well, it's tumble time and it's bumble time. Hey, ready, set, go, you gotta hit that line. Yeah, catch the ball. Hey, make the run. Oh, most of all, you gotta have a lot of fun. We're gonna make you smile and get rid of your blues and do the Monday Night Football boogie for you. Are you ready to rock? Are you ready to roll? Are you ready for the Raiders and the Chiefs as they go toe to toe? We're gonna make you smile and get rid of your blues and do the Monday Night Football boogie for you. Are you ready for the football? It's the game of the week that's coming your way. It's Monday Night Football and it's time to play.
Nation's heartland, Kansas City, a city turned on by their Kansas City Chiefs. Just outside Arrowhead Stadium, they've been tailgating most of the afternoon. And inside, a capacity crowd on hand, a noisy partisan Kansas City Chiefs crowd of nearly 78,000 as tonight the Chiefs play host to their longtime rival, the Los Angeles Raiders, on Monday Night Football. Hello again, everyone. I'm Frank Gifford along with Al Michaels and Dan Deerdorf. Glad you're with us. This should be a good one, a good AFC West matchup. It's the Los Angeles Raiders and the Kansas City Chiefs. Both are at 5-3. Whoever wins tonight will be a half game behind Denver in the AFC West. These two teams met the first time over 30 years ago. It was a long-time rivalry with a lot at stake for many games, and both fell on hard times in recent years, but they both returned to prominence a year ago. The Raiders won the AFC West with a 12-4 record. Two of their losses were to the Kansas City Chiefs, who went 11-5 under Marty Schottenheimer, and they also went to the playoffs. Earlier this season, the Kansas City Chiefs got off to a slow start, and then they won 4 in a row before losing to Denver last week, but they are a hot team right now. Well, what can you say, Al Michaels, about the Raiders other than they're playing Raiders football? It's not pretty, but it's just win, baby, win, and they're doing that.
That's been their theme, Frank. And not only have they won through the years, they've won so dramatically. Think back to who has engineered their victories through the years. They have been engineered by the grand old masters. In the early 70s, George Blanda, who seemingly was 100 years old, would come off the bench and lead them to a stirring comeback. And then in the early 80s, Jim Plunkett, who seemingly was nearing 100 years old, had his career resurrected, and he led them to stirring wins and 2 Super Bowls. And in between, there was Ken Stabler, who, because of his lifestyle, looked like he was 100 years old, who led them to some great wins. Now there is a new Raider grand old master, but oddly, he plays on the other side of the ball. He is Ronnie Lott, who was picked up off Plan B from San Francisco 2 weeks ago, intercepted a pass in overtime to lead them to a win over Seattle. Last week, 2 fourth-quarter interceptions. They come from behind and beat the Rams. He and his defensive unit are the keys to a Raider win tonight. Anytime, Dan, you've got 2 old AFL teams, it's special, but this is extra special.
Yeah, you're right, Al. And I think back to some of those rivalries you talk about. You know, might be LaMonica and Dawson in a passing duel, or maybe Willie Brown trying to cover Otis Taylor, or Stenerud involved in a kicking battle with Blanda. Tonight ought to be another installment of that. A couple keys for Kansas City here tonight. Offensively, if they get their play-action passing game going, they ought to have some success against the Raiders. The Raiders' 2 safeties, Anderson and Lott, are their number 1 and number 3 tacklers, respectively. They love to come up and hit on the run. They might get caught too close if Steve DeBerg is slick with the ball. Defensively for Kansas City, quite simply, it rests on 2 guys' shoulder. J.C. Pearson and Albert Lewis, the 2 corners. They're a little bit nicked, and they've got to cover the fastest wide receivers in the league. Can they do it hurt?
Arrowhead Stadium, at the moment, a very balmy night, though they do say a front is headed this way, and there is a chance of rain before the night is done. Jeff Jager to kick off for the Raiders. And back to receive for Kansas City. That's Harvey Williams, the rookie, standing in the middle at the goal line. And the kick in the direction of Williams, who fields at the 3. And Harvey brings it back to the 19-yard line. He is tackled there by Derek Crudup. And now a look at Alt, Zott, Grunhard, Lutz, and Baldinger have done a fine job, and they have stayed injury-free, working very much in tandem and effectively. Off the play fake on first down. It is deflected at the line of scrimmage. The fake to Okoye. Howie Long put the pressure on and may have gotten a hand on it. And let's take a look at that Raider defense, anchored on one side of the line by number 75. Long, Golick, Davis, and Townsend, who leads the team in sacks. Moss is the ex-Tampa Bay Buck, Ellison the ex-49er, and Benson. And then you've got McDaniel and Washington, and Ronnie Lott and Eddie Anderson are the safeties. Troy Stratford is split to the right for Kansas City on 2nd and 10. Stratford, a one-time running back, wearing number 25. And Okoye takes it straight over the right side and up to about the 24-yard line. A gain of 5, and Scott Davis makes the stop, and we've got our first little skirmish, and I can guarantee you it won't be the last of the evening.
Look like Dave Zott and Eddie Anderson, Frank, the first two guys at it tonight.
And for sure it won't be the first one. I think Kansas City wants to come out and do what they did against Buffalo, and that's just run the football if they can. And well, the Raiders offer a pretty good opportunity. They're 15th against the rush in the league. They've had trouble against the rush, and if Marty Schottenheimer has his way, that's what they're going to do tonight.
3rd and 5 for Kansas City, the game's opening drive. At the 24-yard line, Todd McNair is their 3rd down specialist, number 48. They send him out into the pattern, and he catches the pass at the 30, and the 3rd down specialist provides a special tee as he is tackled by Winston Moss. First down. 15-yard pickup. And a milestone completion, 2,500 completions now into Berg's 15-year career. Flags. There was a motion.
I think we had a false start somewhere up there in the line.
Play ruled dead before its inception. Referee tonight is Tom White.
False start on the quarterback, pulling out early prior to the snap, 5 yards, still first.
Tom White, the referee, and Ronnie Lott. White actually kind of motioned for Lott to get out of the way.
1st and 15, good protection. Harvey Williams takes the swing pass, brings it back to the 40-yard line, which is the original line of scrimmage. Ellison and Lott converge on the tackle, and let's go back and take a look at the situation that Dan just described.
Now remember, the whistle had blown right away because of false start. Oh, I see. Tim Barnett comes up and gives Ronnie a little shove, but Lott must have been complaining about it after they separated because he was pushed away by the referee, but that's what precipitated the whole thing there. The man asks for none and gives none.
And not unusual to see Ronnie Lott, the 11-year veteran, trying to intimidate the rookie Tim Barnett.
2nd and 9. Benson on a blitz, and it's tipped and caught by Townsend. And Townsend is inside the 10, and Williams, I believe, saves the touchdown, but no. One official says, I think he got in. The referee, White, does. Touchdown.
He carried Williams across the goal line 3 or 4 yards. But Townsend, having a spectacular year, coming off a Pro Bowl year of a year ago, deflects the ball, gets his own deflection, and the question tonight will be whether he crossed the goal line before he was ridden out of bounds.
I thought the official on the sideline had the much better angle. It was the referee coming in from the side who made the call. They'll probably take a look at this upstairs.
Well, first of all, it starts off with Townsend making a great read of Williams coming out of the backfield. Now let's watch the feet. Yeah, he's out of bounds well before the ball, I think, crosses the goal line. At least it looked like from that angle from behind. But one, before we get lost on where he went out of bounds, what a marvelous play by Townsend. He saw Harvey Williams cross his line of sight, stopped his pass rush, floated a yard or two to the outside, and made the interception.
There's a better look at it now. There, he's The knee is down. The ball is not over.
It's a touchdown. We had him crossing the goal line. He does not touch the sideline prior to doing that. The play is being reviewed.
Well, they'll respot this ball back at the 1 or 2 yard line, maybe even as far out as the 2, but nonetheless, what a play by Greg Townsend.
Yeah, we showed you that in slow motion, but in regular speed, I'm sure you saw it like we did. It was just incredible. It's hard to do that. That ball had a lot of velocity. He deflected it. There is the foot out of bounds. Ball obviously has not crossed the goal line, and they should bring it back.
This is a very difficult call for the replay official to make. You can see, and clearly he's out of bounds, but exactly where is the ball as he goes out of bounds?
Well, it's not across the goal line.
Well, that's the best look right there. It was a foot and a half short of the goal line. Watch this now.
There's the play initially. Do you see how he altered his course after he saw Harvey Williams there, number 44, going to his outside? And you know what?
Reversal on the play.
This is a pretty good run. You can hear the reversal being announced.
Touchdown. The ball will be placed on the 1 yard line. First and goal.
Yeah, they're going to spot it at the 1, but that doesn't in any way negate what Greg Townsend did. That's just an excellent play.
Yeah, he's had 7 sacks already this year. What a force he's been after his first Pro Bowl last year in his 8th season.
So the Raiders' first offensive play of the game is that the Chiefs won. Now the Raiders this season have scored only 1 rushing touchdown, and that was last week by Nick Bell, the rookie from Iowa. Jay Schrader is the quarterback, and they have Bell in the game. They would normally start Craig, that's Steve Smith, the fullback, and Bell, the rookie, the ball carrier, and Bell is stopped at the line of scrimmage. Dino Hackett, the first man to hit him.
I will say this, Al, that first and goal at the 1 dramatically increases your chances of getting a rushing touchdown.
Yeah, there was a little loss on that play.
Yeah.
Bell is in there for obvious reasons. The rookie from Iowa is a 255-pound running back. Let's watch the work in the interior of this line. Now, this is all Reed. 56 is Dino Hackett. Bang. The collision, and Bell stopped right in his tracks.
Second and goal against Smith, the fullback, and Bell, the big bruising tailback. Fake to Bell. Schrader throws. Incomplete. Intended for the tight end, Ethan Horton. He was covered by Albert Lewis, shaking off an injury he sustained early in the season, playing sparingly until now, but a starter tonight.
Well, you better play it tight or not play it at all.
Exactly. And Lewis is one of the best, maybe the best at man-to-man football there is.
Third and goal, and they give it to Steve Smith, and Steve Smith is not in.
He didn't get close.
I think a tough decision right now for the Raiders. Do we take the 3 against a team that really is
3 points
near the goal line?
3 points goes a long way in this game.
Tracy Simeon was the man who hit him first. He comes off the field. The Raiders send in their field goal unit.
And Dan's point well taken. This promises not to be a high-scoring game. Neither team is a high-scoring type of football team, so 3 is awfully important.
This is shorter than an extra point. The ball will be spotted at the 9. Jeff Jager to attempt it, and it's good. And so the Raiders, who, as we said, have gone half the season with 1 rushing touchdown, can't get it in on a first and goal.
And it is demoralizing, any way you look at it, to have first and goal at the 1 and only get 3.
3-0. And Jay Schrader and the offense unable to get a yard. They settle for the field goal after Townsend nearly runs it in for a score. And that Chief defense did its job.
Yeah, you could say that. We may look back at that little 3-play series by Kansas City's defense and realize that it was giant.
Jager's kick. Williams has to go over into the corner to take it at the 3. And he's pinned there at the 13-yard line, tackled by Dan Land. This is the 2nd interception of Greg Townsend's career. The other he ran back 86 yards for a touchdown 3 years ago, and he almost runs this one back.
And it's a 4-point piece of hustle by Harvey Williams. I mean, Harvey Williams could have looked the other way, maybe could have come a little slower than he did. That hustle translated instantly into 4 points. The difference between the Raiders having 7, the Raiders having 3. Of course, he got a lot of help there from his defensive teammates. But that was fine work by Harvey Williams. He was the intended receiver. When Townsend intercepted it, he came back and saved the touchdown.
Steve DeBerg and the Chiefs from the 13-yard line. They give it to Okoye. Gain of 4. You'll see a lot of that tonight. You'll see a lot of play action passing. By the way, that interception was the first.
Will you look at that? I mean, that is a remarkable stat by the Chiefs. Not a single touchdown in 9 possessions inside their own territory.
2nd and 5, and Okoye gets met at the line of scrimmage and pushed back. That was Ricky Ellison who hits him low, and that's the way you've got to hit somebody like Christian Okoye. Ellison, the former 49er.
What was Christian's soundbite there in our tees? I don't like the
north-south runner. 3rd and 5. McNair is in the game. 48 again, the 3rd down specialist.
There's Watt up there.
Out of the shotgun. DeBerg under pressure, and DeBerg has it batted away.
Oh, that's a live ball.
It may be ruled a fumble. If it is, it will be a safety because the Chiefs apparently have recovered, and that is what it is. It is a safety. Tim Barnett was at least able to save 5 points by getting there first. Ruled a fumble.
And Marty Schottenheimer, who's an opponent of instant replay, I think right now is hope he gets a break.
I don't think there's a break coming on this one because the arm did not look like it was coming forward. And you can see DeBerg, he is looking up to the replay on the scoreboard. His arm is going back actually when he is hit.
Yeah, that's a fumble
and
all the way.
Aaron Wallace comes in on the blitz.
And look who almost got a touchdown. Greg Townsend almost had it and let it get away from him. Townsend so close to his 2nd big play of the game.
A big effort early on here by the Raiders defense. Ball batted away by Wallace. Townsend over there hustling, almost gets the touchdown.
And give Barnett a lot of credit too, because Barnett was actually out in a pass pattern and had to race all the way back into the end zone to recover it.
A fairly miserable start by the Kansas City offense, and yet they've made two colossal mistakes, and it's only cost them 5 points. Stop and think about this. If Townsend runs his interception into the end zone, if it's not for Harvey Williams, it's 7-0. If Townsend is able to gather in that ball right there, it's 14-0. In reality, it's only 5-0.
And the worst part of that scenario, Dan, is Kansas City is not a team that plays catch-up football.
Well, and they could have easily been 14 down instead of the 5 they are. I know it's hard. Congratulations to the Minnesota Twins, the world champions, and to our friends over at CBS. A great series.
And to the Washington Redskins.
Barker puts it in the air. That's a great kick, fielded by Tim Brown at his own 17-yard line. And the one-time Heisman Trophy winner out of Notre Dame takes it back to the 46, where Barker, the man who kicked it, makes the tackle.
Well, Tim Brown has really come around. He had that terrible knee injury back in 1989 and just kind of worked himself back into shape a year ago. And every time you see him, he is more like the Tim Brown that came out with that Heisman out of Notre Dame, doing it as a pass receiver and a return man now.
Craig and Smith start in the backfield. Gold and Fernandez, the wideouts, Horton, the tight end, and there's the offensive line. Don Mosbar, excellent, as always, the center, number 72. On 1st down, it's to Fernandez, who makes the catch and picks up about 8, but there's a marker down back at the 38. J.C. Pearson covering on the play.
I think there was a false start. I don't think the play ever even happened.
Number 88 offense, prior to the snap, still 1st down.
That's Ethan Horton, the guilty party. Chiefs, they play a base 3-4. Neil Smith, Ross out, Porter, and the venerable Duron Cherry are the safeties. 1st and 15 at the 40. 5-0 Raiders. Craig can't go anywhere. And the Chiefs say, welcome to the AFC. Kevin Porter led the greeting party. 8:25 to play in the opening quarter.
Well, it looks like the Kansas City offense thought the game was going to start at 9:30 Eastern rather than 9 o'clock Eastern, but the Kansas City defense knows what time this game was supposed to start. These guys are here, and they're here big.
Raiders have rushed the ball 3 times for 0 yards. 8 minutes to go in the quarter. 5-0 Los Angeles. 2nd and 15. Schrader buying time, and then in effect throws it away, even though Craig was in the neighborhood. Neil Smith levels Schrader back at the 20-yard line.
Credit that to just good coverage downfield. Coming out of the
This has come limping off for Kansas City and appears now to be holding his hand as well as being gimpy. 3rd and 15. Schrader throws, caught by Fernandez. A first down.
Goodbye.
He's inside the 30. He's inside the 20. Pearson has an angle on him, and Pearson shoves him out at the 1.5.
Wow.
Ooh, Kansas City got caught in a zone, and Fernandez worked just a little turn in.
Right, we
About
had
15 yards down the field, and he was wide open. Schrader with plenty of time, a little partial rollout. He got good protection.
Reporting is eligible.
a
for
classic
Los Angeles.
blow by the Kansas City secondary. Two guys, look at the two guys going downfield. Pearson and Lewis, both to that side. One of them should have stayed with Mervin Fernandez. You see Pearson there, number 24. He saves the touchdown, but one of those two guys made an error and let him go.
59-yard pickup off a 3rd and 15, and Schrader stumbles, gives it to Bell, and Bell gets in for the touchdown. So that was not a work of art. Schrader almost fell down. Bell gets hurt, but Bell gets it into the end zone, and for the moment, it is 11-0 going on 12. And this would be a killer for the Raiders because Marcus Allen is still on injured reserve. They've got Roger Craig, of course. You know about Bo. He's rehabbing in Alabama, and Bell is going to be their main man. But
He was clutching at his hip after the play. You could see where he took a shot from both sides. There is Marcus Allen.
Albert Lewis came up and put a shoulder right on the right hip.
He sure did, Frank.
Of Nick Bell.
And that's right where he was clutching when he went down. You're right on. It's that right shoulder of Albert Lewis. Look at it from here. Here comes Lewis from the right side. Actually, he gets a shoulder on both hips. I think Lloyd Burris to the other side put his shoulder pad on the right on the hip bone on the left side. There's Lewis and there's Burris on the other side.
As we talked about Marcus Allen, he probably won't be available for a couple of weeks. They'll bring him back after the bye, and of course everyone knows that Bo Jackson is not around, and what a difference a year makes for these Raiders without Marcus and without Bo.
But that's a very promising sight right now as Bell goes off. Marcus in the role of cheerleader. One reason they kept Marcus out of tonight's game, it's on turf. They have an off week next week, and then they're on the grass against Denver.
And I think that's a smart play. You buy 2 more weeks of getting this guy ready, and obviously with Bo Jackson not playing football this year, Marcus Allen is going to have to be the guy to carry the Raiders through the months of November and December.
As he really did last year. He had 8 rushing touchdowns the last half of the last season. When the money is on the line,
Jeff Gossett, who's their punter, will hold it. And the Raiders have that kick blocked. Bill Moss blocks it.
I'll tell you, you've seen some weird things happen already. I know Halloween's coming up, but some strange things have already happened here on Monday night.
11-0.
Goal line stand, safety, touchdown, blocked extra point.
11-0. How do you figure this?
One of the best kickers around.
They're 1 and 2 wideouts tonight. Jaeger kicks off a short kick. Harvey Williams takes this one at the 10-yard line and gets tackled at the 20-yard line by Dan Land, his second special team tackle of the night. I mean, come on. That's what working out at the club every day will do, huh?
Well, he should have a little random testing, I think, there.
The club bonga bonga.
I hope nobody shows up in the booth with 3 bottles.
Chiefs have it at their own 20-yard line. 1st and 10. Raiders on top 11-0. Here's Okoye, and he gets tripped up on a great tackle by Scott Davis. And Golick says, nice going, Scotty. 2nd and 9. Next week will be at Veterans Stadium and start Monday night. Giants Eagles a week from tonight. 2nd down, called at 8 from the 22. Here's Okoye again. And he's able to knife through and get out to the 26-yard line. Dragged down by Anthony Smith. It'll be 3rd and 4. Now, off the field and back in there he is into the Raider locker room, accompanied by Dr. Rosenfeld, the orthopedic surgeon for the Raiders. So it appeared Bell would be okay, but at the moment, probably done for at least the half. 3rd and 4. DeBerg throws and has the first down.
Oh, a late flag back upfield by the quarterback.
J.J. Burton makes the catch.
Oh, and this came from the umpire. Oh, and here you go. This one's going to go against the Raiders, but it was first down yardage anyway. There's Dave Adolph, the defensive coordinator of the Los Angeles Raiders.
Illegal use of the hands to the head. Number 75 on the defense. First down.
Hand on the face mask. We certainly couldn't see much of it there. We were partially screened with that angle, but didn't look like a lot.
Ticky-tack. First down from the 32-yard line. Catch made by the rookie Barnett. He's up to the 39-yard line. Tackled by Lott. If that name's familiar, Barnett, Fred Barnett of the Eagles, the second-year receiver we'll see next week, is his cousin.
DeBerg on play action, and Barnett, they laid off Barnett. He just hooked up a little bit on Ronnie Lott. Ronnie Lott has to be a little cautious back there because against his play action, you're allowed to see Ronnie Lott up there like a linebacker. But that time, Barnett gets good yardage after he catches the football, and that's what he excels at.
Here's Okoye on 2nd and 3, and Okoye bulls his way to the Raider 47-yard line, leaving bodies in his wake.
Why juke when you can go straight ahead?
This is exactly what the Chiefs needed, though, to get back to their.
Do not ever attempt to tackle him from the waist up.
First and 10 at the 47-yard line. Barnett, another first down. Takes it to the 34. Tackled by Winston Moss.
That's twice Barnett, who is a good runner, a good return man, has made the.
3:15 to go in the quarter. 11-0 Raiders. Okoye can only bounce for 2 to the 32-yard line. It'll be 2nd and 8. Nick Bell taken back to the Raider locker room. They are x-raying his ribs, and that really hurts the Raiders because now they're down to Craig. Steve Smith is more of a blocker. Napoleon McCallum is another running back, but he's more of a special teams guy. And that's it.
I think it kind of changes what they will have to do with Craig in there. Craig is not the power runner that Bell is, of course, but he can do a lot of things. He's a good receiver out of the backfield, and he can take it wide for you.
2nd and 8.
Oh, yeah.
Going deep, but too deep. Intended for J.J. Burton, the speediest of the Chief receivers. He was able to get out in front, but DeBerg overthrows him. He got by McDaniel.
Well, he is the fastest of the
11-0 Raiders. 3rd and 8 for the Chiefs at the Raiders 32-yard line. Shotgun. 4 wideouts. Pass over the middle is incomplete. Intended for Thomas. A bad pass behind him. McDaniel covering, and Ronnie Lott forced it.
And he also hammered DeBerg. Ronnie Lott came up late after DeBerg had lost the opportunity to change the play and forces DeBerg to hurry the pass, and is incomplete, and DeBerg gets a lump out of it.
Kansas City wants to take a timeout to decide what they will do here. If they bring in Lowry, it's about a 49-yard field goal and a little bit of a swirling wind. 11-0 LA. 8, they have chosen for the moment not to attempt a 50-yard field goal because of the breeze, and they line up to go for it at the 32-yard line. And DeBerg tries to get the Raiders to commit, and they do. He has a free play, but it's incomplete.
intended for Thomas. Aaron Wallace was the guy who jumped, and if he jumps, that's 5 yards. It still doesn't give them a first down, but it will make it a 45-yard attempt for Lowry instead of a 50-yard attempt.
Well, he was obviously in the neutral zone. He was well across.
Oh, and a great head motion and hard count by DeBerg.
All sides. Number 51 defense. 5 yards. We'll replay 4th down.
You know, everyone on that defensive line has been saying during that timeout, now don't get any penalties, let's don't get offsides. And there's number 51, Aaron Wallace, going for the hard count of DeBerg.
They're still not going to kick. I mean, they're still going to go for it.
This is odd. Now, you would figure they would have done that to get Lowry in a little better position. He's ready, but Schottenheimer says, no, we're going to go for it on 4th and 3 down by 11.
His career best is 58, so if you're worrying about distance, forget it. It has to be the win.
Or else you wonder if there's not something wrong with Lowry.
Exactly.
4th and 3. DeBerg throws, and it's dropped at the 26-yard line. Tim Barnett was there. Winston Moss was covering.
Well, DeBerg put it there, but he had a lot of velocity on it.
Well, I'm not sure Barnett was even looking at it.
And Barnett, if he did, he just took a quick look. He was more concerned with the coverage. And Moss was the man with him. And here comes Lionel Warsham, and now watch number 99. That's Winston Moss. Grab him right there. But more than that, he just distracted him from concentrating on the ball. You see him with his hand right on his waist, not enough to draw the flag, but enough to distract Barnett.
Oh, that would have drawn the flag in a lot of places. But it didn't draw one here.
Strange sequence as they turn it over on downs. First down, Raiders from the 27. And now Schrader looking for an open man and finds Ethan Horton, the tight end. He is chased down by Thomas, and the linebacker makes the tackle about 50 yards down the field at the 21-yard line.
Hey, the Raiders love to stretch it. They had 2 deep receivers. Fernandez was deep, Galt was deep, but Ethan Horton, their tight end, a former running back drafted by Kansas City a few years ago, has been a prime receiver, and he can take it deep, but no pressure on Schrader. It came so late.
There's Derek Thomas, who's across from Horton initially, holds him up, rides him well down the field.
Well, you would expect there to be pressure on DeBerg at that point. I mean, DeBerg had all the time in the world to find Horton.
Schrader was decked at the end of that play by Moss as he finally released it. This is Steve Smith taking it down to the 17-yard line with 1 minute 10 seconds remaining in the first quarter. And the Raiders on top thanks to their defense and a couple of big plays, 11-0. Second and 5 at the 17. Weird. 6 yards on the ground, 111 through the air for the Raiders. Second and 5. And no play, no play.
I'm still scratching my head over that last sequence with Kansas City and them going for it twice on 4th down and not attempting a field goal either time.
Well, the last one would have been a 45 yards, and you kind of wonder about that.
Ball start. 66 offense. 5 yards. Still second down. Moving prior to the snap.
I agree, Dan. It has to be local knowledge more than anything else. The wind is swirling. Maybe they know something that's not apparent to anybody else.
Yeah, when you look at Lowry on the sidelines doing his practice kicks, he didn't appear to be favoring anything, or it didn't appear to be a physical problem with Lowry.
Second and 10 after the penalty, back at the 22. Schrader throwing it is picked off by Pearson at the 14-yard line. He has only Schrader to beat. And then Schrader is able to slow him down. Horton gets there to tackle him out of bounds.
Derek Thomas hustled up and got in front of J.C. Pearson, but then Pearson elected to just step out of bounds rather than cut back to the middle of the field and try to make something happen.
Poorly thrown ball by Schrader. You know your cornerback down in that red zone is going to be up there close. Galt made a square out. He threw it late, and here comes Pearson. It's Thomas
Yep,
He'd taken Schrader out of it.
yeah, he sure did that.
But when you get down close in that red zone, you are going to have your cornerbacks playing much tighter. And Pearson was all over Galt. The ball delivered a little late by Schrader. Big break for Kansas City.
And the Chiefs come to the line of scrimmage and take a timeout.
Another one.
I mean, that's a real strange timeout. There are 12 seconds to play in the quarter. The clock isn't going to start anyway. A worthless timeout for the Chiefs. They now have one remaining in the half. On first down, DeBerg throws, and the catch is made by Thomas. There's a marker down on the other side of the field at the 34-yard line. Line of scrimmage was a 45.
Well, I think that's going to go against Lionel Washington.
Completely away from the play, apparently.
He just grabbed one of the Kansas City Chiefs.
At the end of a strange quarter.
A Halloween quarter. 11-0. We'll return with Monday Night Football after this message and a word from our ABC this Saturday. Barry Word is in the game as the running back in this set, and that's Barry with the ball. And he picks up about 2 to the 31 as we start the second quarter. ABC's Monday Night Football is being brought 8 Chiefs at the 31-yard line. Kansas City working without a huddle here on this play. Christian Okoye is the running back. No huddle, but they've taken 30 seconds off the play clock. Okoye to the 29-yard line, where it'll be 3rd down and 6. Stopped by Townsend. Weird score and some weird numbers coming your way.
Well, we've had a safety. We've had a defensive end, Greg Townsend, come up with an interception.
6 yards rushing and 111 passing for the Raiders. And those 111 accomplished on Schrader's only 2 completions. One was 59 yards and one was 52 yards. 3rd and 6. Kansas City at the 29-yard line. McNair is in the game, number 48. As always on 3rd down. DeBerg goes the other way, hits Barnett, loses the football after he had picked up the first down, but they are saying it was down at the 22-yard line. Ronnie Lott is going to run all the way to the end zone, or close to it, but this won't count. They're calling him down at the 22-yard line, and they will say the whistle blew and DeBerg is shaken up.
He's
DeBerg
grabbing his
stands
throwing
down,
arm.
and they're definitely going to look at this.
But DeBerg, more important, I think he's clutching his right arm. He's grabbing his throwing arm.
Well, they can look at it all they want, but if the whistle blew, that's the end of the play.
That's that.
And I heard the whistle.
Well, we used to think that.
All right, there's Barnett. Let's watch it. There's the left knee.
Ruling on a fail.
Plays over.
Completed pass. Down by contact. First down.
And I think that was a great look. That was a good look at it, guys. I think that's pretty holding his arm.
Here's Okoye running laterally for one of the rare times this season, taking it to the 18-yard line. Picks up 4, 2nd and 6, and here is what happened to Steve DeBerg after Lott had scooped up the fumble.
Well, he got into it and tried to make a tackle on Lott, and then he just fell on the elbow. And it could be that elbow is sore, and when you go down on this carpet, sometimes you can just bang that nerve, and I'm sure many people have done it, and it hurts for a while, but he obviously is shaking it off.
If it is the nerve.
2nd and 6, 12:30 to play, first half, 11-0 Los Angeles. Okoye off the quick count, first to the 12, and that's close to a first down.
If he stays on, Williams is so quick. He has size too. He's 222 pounds, but he is much quicker, and he can go laterally much better than Okoye.
That's McNair in motion. Williams had been offset and takes it to the 8-yard line, where Winston Moss makes the stop. Gain of about 3. It'll be 2nd and 7 for the first, and 8 or so for the touch. Winston Moss, they picked him up from Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay changed their defensive alignment, and so Moss became available, and he fits right in with the Raiders. Done a nice job steadily and quietly at an outside linebacker spot.
Jonathan Hayes, one of the better blocking tight ends in the NFL, was trying to keep Moss from crossing his face and getting inside, and Moss just took the slant and beat him there.
Okoye back in. How do you miss him? 2nd and 7. Caught by Jones. Touchdown, Bill Jones.
And only his 12th reception as the Chiefs cross up the Raiders. The Rams did the same thing to the Raiders last week with their backs coming out of the backfield.
Everybody's wearing gloves these days.
Lowry to kick off. Jamie Holland takes it from the 3.
Oh, the ball came loose
to the 24-yard line, but Todd McNair with the jarring hit. It will still be Los Angeles ball.
And he really popped Holland.
I can't thank Craig Janoff, our director, enough. That is such a marvelous way to look at a kickoff return. I mean, that's good.
These teams have been meeting since 1960 as you take another look at the hit. That's McNair.
Oh, it looked like the ball was out before he hit the ground. What a great shot. What a great hit. That ball was out, but it ruled down, so that's all there is to that.
Whistle blew, end of play. First down Raiders at the 23-yard line. Craig for a couple. These teams have been meeting since 1960. 2 original AFL teams. Another look at the hit. It was the Oakland Raiders against the original.
This game has come a long way, and so has its rivalry, but an awkward beginning, and if you're Kansas City, you can't be upset with where you are right now.
2nd and 8. Fernandez makes the catch and drags Pearson for a first down up to the 38-yard line.
You know, this is a matchup I talked about early on in the game. You got Pearson with a bad big toe. JC's got a bad big toe on his right foot. Albert Lewis, the other corner, he's still bothered a bit by a sore knee. And Kevin Ross, their Pro Bowl corner, isn't playing. So the pressure on Pearson, the pressure on Lewis by Fernandez, Galton, Brown is immense. And I think their ability to cover and compensate is the most critical part of the Kansas City defensive game plan tonight.
First down, LA at the 38, 9:25 to go in the half. Rader throws for Fernandez and incomplete, and Fernandez was covered by a linebacker, Dino Hackett. Moss, meanwhile, came in and decked Schrader as he released.
Kansas City.
2nd down, 10. Raiders from the 38-yard line. Schrader throws to Horton, the tight end. Nice catch to the 44. Well, here's real bad news now for the Raiders as Horton gets into a little shoving contest with Martin. Al Okasal of the Raiders is telling us that x-rays have revealed 3 broken ribs for Nick Bell.
Well, he really got sandwiched down on the goal line. You saw it earlier. Lewis coming in from one side, another defensive back coming in from the other side, and they both hit him at exactly the same time.
So Bell clearly done for the night. They are down to Craig, who will have to be the main man. Smith, basically the blocking back, and McCallum if necessary.
I guess the Raiders, Al, are down to doing something they really don't want to do. Throw the ball downfield to their wide receivers. Well, that'll really displease Schrader.
It'll change the offense a little bit, but remember, Roger Craig has still got a lot of football.
On the field, it's completed pass. It is being reviewed. The play stands as called. 3rd down.
Yeah, I agree with that. I don't think any of us saw enough to turn that over. That was a good effort by Ethan Horton.
3rd and 4. And the referee is now explaining to Schrader that the play clock, which had gone down to 11, will be started now. 3rd and 4. Over the middle, has his man for a first down. It's Roger Craig, who's caught more passes than any running back in the history of the National Football League. and he takes it to the 46. It's an anomaly in a way. Craig has caught more passes than any running back in history, and the Raiders throw less to running backs than any team in the league.
Well, I think with Bell out of there now, they'll come back a lot. I mean, he works so well out of the backfield, and they can't do some of the things they wanted to do with Nick Bell. They're the things you can do well with Roger Craig.
First and 10 at the 46. Craig again. Craig to the 40-yard line and banged back by Kevin Porter after a gain of 6.
Roger with over 7,000 career rushing yards and over 45.
Second down and 4 from the 40-yard line. Here is Steve Smith, and he's hit down close to a first. I think he's a little short. Hackett and Cherry converge on the hit. You saw that graphic on Craig, and it may have piqued your interest. 4 guys in history with 4,000 yards rushing, 4,000 yards receiving. 2 of the others are Lenny Moore and Walter Payton, and that would figure. The other you'd win a lot of money on in a bet. Tony Galbraith.
Well, Tony is around for a long time.
There it is.
New Orleans, Green Bay.
And they are a little short of the first down. It's going to set up third and
coordinator or defensive coordinator. You have to kind of work it out.
Well, let's put it this way. He calls the plays. From where I come from, that makes you the offensive coordinator.
Third and inches. And Schrader's going to go deep for the open man, Steve Smith, for the touchdown. The fullback, Steve Smith, that's only his 9th catch of the season. 37 yards as they trick the Chiefs and go up by a score of 17-7.
What a scheme on that one. They get the running back coming out of the backfield, working against a linebacker, and you'll see the hook up here. That's Dino Hackett trying to stay with the running back, and you can forget it. He's not going to do it unless he has some help. And here comes Smith. Didn't even get bumped coming around. And he was beyond Hackett, 3 yards beyond the line of scrimmage. And it was a sprint that Hackett was going to lose all the way.
Jager's extra point is good. And the Raiders have their 11-point lead back. 6:43 left in the half in Kansas City. 18-7 Raiders.
I mean, that's redundancy.
Yep. Speaking of returns, here is Harvey Williams returning Jager's kick from the 5 to the 30. And they'll spot it at the 31-yard line. Chiefs will take it there. Crudup ran him out of bounds. 6:33 left in the initial half. Oh, you'll always be our pumpkin, Frank. Come on. First and 10 from the 31. Pass is low, and it is ruled a completion on the field. Barnett makes the catch. Lionel Washington looks over as if to say, are they going to look at that upstairs?
It wasn't
The entire first half, a little hitch to Barnett.
Second and 10 from the 31. Here's Okoye. Slogs his way forward to about the 35, where Winston Moss makes the tackle. We come down to 6 minutes remaining in the first half. Had there been a Super Bowl that year, they would have gone. Third down and 6. DeBerg throws to McNair underneath, and McNair fights his way toward a first down, but is knocked out of bounds by Ronnie Lott, and Ronnie Lott saves the first down.
by about a yard, if I was to guess from up here. There's always a very audible difference when Ronnie Lott hits somebody and when someone else hits them. But right there, if you were going to say who got the best of that, it was probably McNair. But nonetheless, the Chiefs have to punt.
Lott had to come a long way to get to McNair, and then he had to take on McNair from the side. And he was very fortunate he could get McNair out of bounds. And there are few who could do what Lott did right there. That was just brute strength.
This is the first punt of the game. Brian Barker to put it in the air. End over end, wobbly short kick. Tim Brown at the 25, escapes McNair and runs it back out to the 31-yard line. So Barker's kick was 36 yards, and the run back was 6. And the Raiders have it with 4:56 remaining in the first half. LA by 11. Of the Raiders.
Nailing that nail.
Since 1963. And a very candid conversation with Al Davis is our halftime feature tonight. 1st and 10 for Los Angeles at the 31-yard line. Beach Bulls bounding through the stands as Schrader hits Horton.
Whoa.
Horton loses the ball at the 40-yard line.
For saying down.
And the official on the spot is ruling that it's down at the 39.
Well, he was down. It came squirting out after Horton was on the carpet. The official was right on top of it.
Ruling on the field, complete a pass. Player is down by contact.
Look,
2nd down.
calling it live, it looked as if he'd lost it clearly before he was down.
Now, Horton spins, gets a shot from the side, and it does look like it came out, but you can forget about it.
Play was whistled dead, and that's the end of that. And it's Craig trying to get those 2 yards. Craig in the backfield with Steve Smith. Steve Smith was the ball carrier, and he's very close as we widen out. You can see where the sticks are.
He was tackled by Dan Salia.
First down.
Gain of 2, first
Have a look at that. Horton.
Simeon coming in from his linebacking position, knocked the ball free.
First down, Raiders from the 41-yard line. Schrader throwing out to the 49-yard line. That's Horton. And remember, Horton's the guy who the Chiefs drafted #1 as a running back in '85.
The Raiders had him, and they cut him, and typical of the Raiders, who like to turn running backs into tight ends. They did it with Todd Christensen. They did it with Hewitt Dixon, Derek Jensen, Billy Cannon. They let him go as a running back, brought him back as a tight end, and he played this kind of game last week against the Rams, and the Raiders are doing the same thing, trying to cover him with a linebacker, and he's very difficult because he is like a running back coming off the line of scrimmage, and once he catches the ball.
2nd and 2 at the 50-yard line. Craig close to a first down. I believe that last effort got it. To follow up on what you mentioned, Frank, another guy, Nick Bell, who was hurt tonight, their 2nd-round draft choice, he is big enough that the Raiders had him running some plays as a tight end in training camp this year.
He was actually an offensive lineman back in high school before he went to Iowa and put up some big numbers, and the Raiders took him in the 2nd round. Offensive lineman who, speaking of rivalries, they've had some heated one over the years.
They measured. It's a first down. The Raiders have it at the 48-yard line. Raiders have all of their timeouts remaining, plus the 2-minute warning. Schrader throws, and it's dropped at the 28-yard line by Sam Grady, the former Olympic sprinter who has great speed. The question, as it is with a lot of sprinters, a lot of guys who go from track to football, what about the hands?
Well, it came right off the chest. You got to catch that ball in the hands, and he tried to trap it. There's a flag down, but let's take a look at it again. It's been Grady's problem.
Offense, 10 yards.
Schrader has it right in there. Grady, instead of using his hands, tries to nurse it into the body, and he loses it.
Well, wouldn't have counted anyway. I believe they got Bruce Wilkerson, number 68, for holding. Working there on the left side, and Grady's mistake doesn't come back to really haunt him. There's the man who forced the hold, Derek Thomas. He came on the blitz, and now he moves to the other side.
1st and 20. They flank Craig to the left. Schrader in trouble. Schrader sacked at the 37. Neil Smith.
Now, Schrader was forced to come.
20 seconds left in the opening half. Los Angeles 18, Kansas City 7. 7-yard line, 2nd and 25. Raiders have all their timeouts left. Chiefs have 1. Tim Brown in motion. They give it to Craig, and he goes nowhere. Stopped for a loss of 2. It's going to be 3rd down and 26.
The first quarterback.
Kansas City would. They're out of timeouts. They used 2 very injudicious timeouts in the first half. 1 on a 4th and 8 to decide what they wanted to do. and one with 12 seconds left in the quarter, which was just a goof. 3rd and 27. Here's Craig. And he takes it up to the 49, and now the Raiders will just take as much time off the clock as they can because Kansas City can't stop it, and then they'll punt. 14-yard pickup. It's still 4th and 13. Roger Craig, and we've watched him hurdle through the years in San Francisco, and he has taken that Ronaldo Nehemiah act right down to L.A.
Yes, he came close to a first down, but you have to figure the Chiefs were thinking, let's don't give them anything big, let's don't give them the first down, even though Craig, with a little bit of an extra effort, came for good yardage up to midfield, and Kansas City should be deeper in their own territory if they get good special teams coverage on the part of the Raiders.
Raiders now will perhaps let it go down to 1 and take a timeout, and that's exactly what they do. Even though the clock went down to 0, they were out there saying, look, it goes down to 1 and we take a tee to stop the clock with 54 seconds, and then they'll punt. So that's using the clock to perfection for L.A.
I don't even know why they bothered to take a timeout. Really, 5 yards at this point of the field really doesn't make all that much difference.
Then again, you know, let's say
timeout. Charge to Oakland. Please reset the clock to 1 minute 12 seconds.
Did he not say Oakland?
Did he?
I think he did.
Well, let's have a replay.
Well, I wondered who would be the first one to
see if we can have a reversal.
He didn't say Irwindale, did he?
No.
Net average. Gossett, the one-time baseball player, played in the Mets farm system with people like Mike Scott and Neil Allen. Rushes on, and they almost got there. The kick is taken at the 5-yard line by Troy Stratford, and that wasn't very prudent. No. And he can only bring it back out to the 6. Goofy play. Why in the world would you field the ball there with everybody running in to try to block the kick?
Well, Troy Stratford has only been back in action a couple of weeks now, has not played that much. He really hasn't got the feel of the game, and this time he makes a terrible mistake to even field the ball at that point. But I think he was trying to make something big happen, and he got the Chiefs in a lot of trouble.
Kevin Porter almost made something big happen here. Like a block kick.
Boy, he was coming up the middle, and if he could have worked his way.
They'll probably just run out the clock. The Birds having a hard time reading from the sideline what they want them to do. The Raiders have 2 timeouts left.
They only had 10 men. McNair ran out and just got there.
Well, now, for some reason, Okoye was in motion.
Raiders take a timeout, but they don't need it. And you can see Ricky Ellison spreading his hands as if to say, no, we don't need a timeout because the flags went down.
Number 35 offense. Half the distance to the goal. Still first down.
What did he call it, going from linebacker to nose tackle? The de-evolution of a football player?
Here's Okoye. He has stopped at the 5. Now the Raiders take a timeout. Golick had one of the great quotes of the year last week. Some reporter asked him, what sort of stress does Christian Okoye put on your defense? And Golick says, a stress fracture. For 5 seconds off, which will take it down to 49. Here's Okoye, and we're down to 49. A timeout. And now it is 3rd down. The Chiefs can run one more play, and that'll, if the play lasts 4 seconds, they can then run the clock out because it'll restart at 45. Anyway, at halftime, as we mentioned before, Al Davis. A chat with the embodiment of the Raiders.
And on the field, that usually is not characteristic of the Marty Schottenheimer team.
Now that play clock will reset at 45 the minute the whistle blows to end the play. Here's Okoye, and now the whistle has blown, so they were able to take enough time off the clock, and they will not have to run another play. As you can see, the play clock, well, the play clock.
How did that happen?
That's their 3rd and last timeout. 40-second timeout.
Wait, the scoreboard had no timeouts.
And right now, Steve DeBerg is going, wait a minute, I didn't think they had any timeouts.
No, neither did I. We know they used 2 there, and I thought And we're going to check with scoring.
Well, Kansas City has been operating this whole time on the assumption that the Raiders had no timeouts, as were we.
Exactly.
That's what it said on the scoreboard.
It's one thing for us to be wrong, but what a disastrous consequence this has for Kansas City with them being wrong as well. Because they would have tried for a first down rather than just run that play right up inside. They knew they weren't going to pick up a first down with that run. They were running out the clock.
Up on the board, they had 2 timeouts remaining, and everybody was under the assumption that there were 2, and that could be a very bad mistake on the part of the Chiefs, as it turns out. Only partially their fault as Barker kicks. Brown at the 43-yard line. Brings it back to the 45-yard line. Now the Raiders will try to get into field goal position. Burris takes the ball, but the play is over. Let's take a look at Schottenheimer's reaction. Everybody
line up in the Kansas City press box on the other end of Marty Schottenheimer's headset would have kept track of the timeouts.
Well, somebody does have that responsibility on his staff somewhere.
First down as Schrader throws down the sideline and incomplete. I think the scoreboard operator might have been confused when the Raiders attempted to call the timeout, but the flag superseded. Official stats that they'd already taken 3, and that was the 4th. And they may have concluded something the refs didn't. We don't know. Second down and 10. You know, the funny thing is, too, and you got to pin a little bit of this on Tom White.
Minute warning, which happened not long ago. They come to the bench and tell the coaches how many timeouts they have remaining.
Third and 10 at the 45. And the catch is made by Horton. There's a flag down. They are for the moment in field goal range, but there's a marker down.
Flag is down right at the line of scrimmage.
12 seconds remaining. And Schrader's reaction indicates it's against LA. Against the Raiders.
Could have been Wilkerson over the left side pulling out. He was getting pass rushing pressure again from Thomas.
Illegal formation. Number 68 is uncovered. 5 yards. Still third down.
To the football. Take a look at Wilkerson all the way back there. Number 68. His helmet is at least 2 or 3 feet from the ball.
Third down, the clock ticking down, 8 seconds, 7 seconds. Schrader gets sacked back at the 38 by Derek Thomas.
And Derek Thomas came all the way around Bruce Wilkerson. What speed he has.
And flags are thrown on what will be the final play of the half.
Well, the Raiders upset about that sack by Derek Thomas, but that was a legal hit.
Dan, his only way could hit him, too, because he had to come so far. He had tremendous speed when he got there, and you can't expect him to pull up on it.
Now, there is a flag on the field, and remember, a half...
not occurred, they would have wound the clock, and they would not have had to run a play.
Well, this sequence goes with the rest of the half.
This is 4th and how long?
From here to Kansas City, Kansas, and it doesn't matter.
That was 4th and over 40 yards.
End of the half. Raiders, Chiefs.
Bizarre.
Halloween week. Figures.
As you can tell.
18-7, LA. Halftime activities coming up after this message from the NFL and a word from our ABC station. Indeed. 4 timeouts were given the Raiders in the second quarter. There was an extra timeout. Everybody thought there was an extra timeout, except the officials. As it turned out, it was a non-factor, fortunately.
I think it's only fair that Kansas City should get 4 this half, though. Maybe we can prevail upon them.
Well, it was the only blessing we can say is that the Raiders didn't convert that into any points. There you see the halftime numbers. Only 61 yards on the ground, 64 yards passing for Kansas City. A dominant win there for the Raiders in total yardage.
Here goes Nick Lowry to put the ball in the air and we start the third quarter at Arrowhead Stadium.
Now we know Lowry's all right.
Jamie Holland, and the Raiders are lucky because the ball goes out of bounds at the 1-yard line, meaning instead of taking it at the 20, had it reached the end zone, they get it at the 35. 15-yard break for LA. First down, Raiders at their own 35-yard line.
If you joined us late, the Raiders' big back over the recent weeks, Nick Bell, has been retired from the night with some broken ribs, and whatever game plan the Raiders came in with Bell has been altered considerably because Roger Craig opens up the second half, and they have been using Steve Smith, ordinarily a blocking back. They've used him a lot.
From the 35-yard line, here's Schrader going deep. He's got Fernandez, but it's knocked down at the last moment by Albert Lewis.
Fernandez broken up by Albert Lewis.
Well, there's a ball that, if that's thrown on stride, Fernandez is long gone. The ball by Schrader was underthrown. Mervin had to wait for it, and that allowed Albert Lewis to get in on the play. But look at the distance he has right there, the separation.
Well, what a move he put on Albert Lewis. Fernandez went down about 8 or 10 yards, stopped, got a pump fake from Schrader, and then took off, and he was far behind Albert Lewis. Schrader was just short.
Second and 10 at the 35-yard line. Roger Craig.
Nice.
That's a vintage 49er, Roger Craig, to the 43-yard line.
And a little alteration of the game plan. I'm sure that Nick Bell would not have been running that type of play, but that's what Roger Craig does so well. Take it outside and cut it back. A great cutback runner against the grain, even with that long stride of his.
Well, Reggie McElroy, the right guard, and Steve Wright, the right tackle, did just an excellent job of sealing off the Kansas City pursuit. That's why Craig had an alley to take it back to the inside.
Craig averaging 4.3 tonight, 3.4 coming into tonight's game. Roger to the outside, gets tripped up, and can only get back to the 41-yard line. Leonard Griffin makes the play. Fourth down, Raiders will kick.
Leonard Griffin knifing from the...
Troy Stratford back to receive. Jeff Gossett, booming kick, a beauty. Fielded at the 8 and brought back to the 23-yard line. Gossett that time a 51-yard punt and 35 net because the run back was 16. 13-14 remaining in the third quarter.
Well, now it would be the Chiefs. The Raiders, by and large, defensively have been very effective against Kansas City.
They start with Harvey Williams as their tailback in this set. And here's Harvey, the #1 draft choice out of LSU, who takes it up to the 24-yard line. We've done the Chiefs so much in the past few weeks. We've talked about Williams, how everyone was surprised on draft day with Okoye and Barry Word doing such a great job for them last year. People were very surprised, but Carl Peterson and his staff knew exactly what they were doing. This guy can bring you something the others can't, and that is that big play capability.
Well, Marty Schottenheimer was down coaching the Senior Bowl, and they had a good look at him, a good long look. He had reconstruction of his knee when he was a sophomore, and he didn't have the great year he did. I mean, he had it between the sophomore and junior year, but he had a 1,000-yard season as a sophomore.
Second and 8. This is the tight end, Jonathan Hayes, who gets ridden out by Terry McDaniel up at the 27-yard line.
And then when Williams came back as a junior, it wasn't too productive.
There's one fault in Kansas City's game plan. They so seldom stretch it. They so seldom try to open things up defensively downfield that I think sometimes it backfires on them.
Third down and 6.
There you go.
DeBerg on an out to Thomas, who makes the catch, and he first down up at the 43-yard line. First catch of the night for Rob Thomas.
Here tonight watching, his brother Lance played for Fresno State. We're all very proud of him.
First and 10 at the 43-yard line. Harvey Williams slants to the right side and is run out of bounds by Eddie Anderson at the 49 after a gain of 6.
He does make things happen when he turns the corner. He has great speed once he plants that outside foot and makes the move.
I'll tell you what else he has, and this is, you know, we talk about the guy's explosiveness and how he's the big play guy. Al, we went by Harvey Williams on our way into the stadium. He was in one of the rooms in the bowels here of Arrowhead warming up. I mean, he is a big man. I mean, he's 6'2", 222. I mean, that's not normally the size that you associate with the guy who's labeled the, you know, quote, breakaway back.
Second and three from the 50-yard line. Pump fake. DeBerg goes deep for Thomas, but too deep. Overthrows him by 2 or 3 yards. Anderson back there covering.
Now, once again, when DeBerg tries to stretch it, as you were calling for a while ago, Dan, pretty good coverage. He was there, and it would have had to have been a perfectly thrown ball to get it in there, and DeBerg very wisely did not try to press his luck.
And we wisely picked up the right guy there with our camera shot, Eddie Anderson. Oftentimes you'll see that kind of a play result in a touchdown, and it's because of an error by the safety. The safety does not give his corner deep help. That time Eddie Anderson was in perfect position and really had no choice. DeBerg had no choice but to overthrow the ball.
Shotgun, 3rd down 3 from the 49. Raiders by 11 with 11 minutes to go in the 3rd. DeBerg hits Barnett. First down. Tackled from behind by Corin Dorn, but the Chiefs convert on a 3rd down and have a first at the LA 39.
4 wide receivers in, and DeBerg throw it to him on like a 4-yard hook and just let him break tackles.
1st and 10 at the 39-yard line. Okoye. For 4. Ricky Ellison makes the stop.
Oh, here's the
flag
flag.
down. We've got Benson in a scuffle. Bill Jones and Benson on the undercard.
This is going to be very unwise if it goes against one of these individuals rather than offsetting.
And the Chiefs are saying it's going to go against the Raiders.
This is going to hurt somebody.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 54 in Los Angeles, 15 yards, 1st down.
Bad time for a Benson boogie.
Well, it just means he's no saint.
He is plan B.
An unwise penalty. And this has been an extremely effective drive by Kansas City to this point.
This one started at their own 23-yard line, exactly what they needed.
1st and 10 at the 20-yard line. Okoye. Not much of a nightmare on that play, and that tackle made by Long and Benson.
Well, Howie Long submarined and was there first. Wily old crafty veteran with a big play. What you try to do against Kansas City, any run-oriented defense, is take away their 1st down. Give them 2nd and long.
Tell you something I'd try to do. I'd try to block Howie Long. Something they didn't even attempt that time.
2nd and 9, Kansas City at the LA 19. 9:15 to go in the 3rd. 18-7, Los Angeles. Williams exploits a hole. Close to a 1st down. Boy, is he quick. McDaniel makes the tackle. See, that's what he can do that Okoye and Word don't have a prayer of doing. Get through a hole like that.
Sees a little gap and he just explodes. A lot of running backs can do this, but he seems to time it beautifully. But what a hole that is. And he is through that hole before the recovery can be made. It was Aaron Wallace trying to get back and make the tackle, but Okoye would have been hit at the line of scrimmage, at least hit at the line of scrimmage. He might have dragged Wallace for a few yards, but Williams just exploded through it.
Nice block by Auld to help pave the way. 3rd and 1 at the 11-yard line. All kinds of action, and do you get the feeling Ronnie Lott was going to blitz on that play?
Rich Baldinger did, because he came out of his stance and drew the flag.
False start, 77 offense, 5 yards, moving prior to the snap, still 3rd down.
When you're down as an offensive lineman, you can see the feet. You see the stampede of feet coming at you, and sometimes you're just not able to hold it. And Baldinger saw Lott's feet coming, and he just wasn't able to stay in his stance.
And Lott came right across the line of scrimmage as soon as he saw Baldinger raise up and made the contact.
3rd and 6.
Looks like Moss and Lott are coordinating something here.
And DeBerg takes a timeout.
Boy, I don't get it.
Yeah.
They just haven't seemed to be in rhythm all night.
They used 2 very imprudent timeouts in the first half.
They sent some of it up to the booth. It wasn't too bad.
3rd and 6 from the 16-yard line as DeBerg has it tipped and it's incomplete and it's 4th down. Anthony Smith is the man who got a hand up, number 94 of the Raiders. 4th down.
Smith having quite a year. 4 sacks coming into tonight. Missed last year with a knee problem. The Raiders' first-round draft pick of a year ago, and he gets a big paw up there. And Rob Thomas was wide open for a first down inside the 5.
Nick Lowry now for a 33-yard field goal attempt. Brian Barker to hold. Spotted at the 23-yard line. And Lowry's kick is good with 7:54 remaining in the 3rd. Left 3rd quarter, Raiders lead the Chiefs 18-10. Nick Lowry kicking off for Kansas City. His last kickoff went out of bounds. This one's right down the middle. Holland a yard in, decides to down it there, and they'll take it at the 20-yard line.
Almost down to the end zone for a touchback.
Scoring drive for the Kansas City Chiefs. Took a little more than 5 minutes. 61 yards to set up Lowry to make it 18-10. It never ends.
I always like the original better. That's
First down, Raiders from the 20. Here's Roger Craig. Can't even reach the line of scrimmage. Dan Saliamua says aloha.
You almost get the sense that the Chiefs are trying to crank it up a little notch. Over in the sidelines, they had huddled up, and a lot of pursuit on that play defensively.
And I'd say that at the conclusion of that play, there were 3 separate collisions involving Raiders and Chiefs. Any one of the 3 could have blown into another fight. I'll be surprised if we go the balance of this game without another fracas of some sort.
2nd and 11. Schrader deep for Fernandez and incomplete. Albert Lewis was covering on the play. Cherry came over to help out.
Tony Dungy, the defensive backfield coach of the Chiefs, says that this man, number 29, Albert Lewis, might be the best man-for-man defensive back of this era. Now, whatever he's talking about, he is the best Tony Dungy has ever seen, and he's seen some great ones.
I'm really surprised Jay Schrader attempted to get that ball to Fernandez.
Barker down. We've got a personal foul.
Number 90, hit to the head at the face mask. 15 yards, first down.
Well, we didn't even see that flag on the field. The Raider team was standing on top of it. That's Neil Smith, who gets called for hitting Schrader in the head.
That's Tony Dungy in the middle of the screen, the defensive backfield coach, former Pittsburgh Steeler. Did not look like it. The blow should have drawn a flag. I think the officials are just trying to make certain that this doesn't get out of hand, because as you mentioned, Dan, there have been a lot of near fracases.
I think they're trying to keep track of timeouts. Here's Roger Craig. Gets 8. Steer wrestled down by Kevin Porter.
Let's go back and see if we can take a look, if we can find Neil Smith's hit on Jay Schrader. All right, here's the conclusion of the play. There's Smith breaking free. McElroy, 77, is blocking him.
Well, the only thing you could surmise is that he got his hand on the face mask, and that is a no-no.
Yeah, but you didn't even see Schrader's.
You did not see the head move.
Yeah, you didn't even see Schrader's head pop back. Let's try it from here. Oh, you can see where
maybe a little bit, yeah.
He grazed the face mask, but that's tight.
Here's Steve Smith, and he is stopped A little short of the first down by Dan Saliamua. Third down and a yard or less coming up.
I have to assume that when Jay Schrader turned around and saw that flag on the ground, he was probably wondering to himself what it was for.
They're going to measure. This is close enough to measure. It appears from here they are a couple of inches shy of the first down.
Marcus Allen directing traffic on the sideline, saying we've got it.
Good call, Al.
Yeah, thank you. I really appreciate that. Well,
there's one of 7 USC players on the Raiders team.
If they put that stupid thing down where they should have, it wouldn't have been a first down. You know what I'm saying?
We've always said the spotting should be done from the announce booth, not on the field. What do they know down there?
Right. First and 10 from the 44. Schrader hits Willie Gault, and he's been pretty silent tonight up at the 49-yard line. Gault is the man they send on the long stuff. Willie, for his career, averaging over 20 yards per reception, and that's his first catch of the night and is good for 5 yards.
He could have got a few more out of that had he not slipped. And defensively, Kevin Ross playing way off Willie Gault, who rightfully so respects the speed of his former Tennessee track star.
Second down and 5 at the 49-yard line. Horton in motion. Roger Craig. And he gets 4. Ball will be spotted at the 47 of Kansas City, and that will set up a third and about 1.5 yards with Dino Hackett making the stop. 5 minutes to play. Third quarter. 18-10. One other note, which we haven't mentioned tonight, the Raiders, the undisputed kings of Monday Night Football. Through the years, an incredible 29-6-1 during the history of this package.
And when you take into consideration that you're not playing doormats on Monday Night Football, you're playing perpetual winners, division winners, and playoff teams from the year before, it makes that record even more astounding.
And you're playing almost always on the road, especially in the last 3 years. Here's a busted play, but they give it to Craig, who takes it to the 41-yard line. Hackett makes the stop, and that's as good a job as I've ever seen a quarterback do, turning a busted play into something that looked like it comes out of a playbook.
I'm not so Schrader never lost control of it. I'm not so sure he was the one that broke it, though. In any event, it was heads-up play by Schrader to get the football into the back, because now he spins left. There's nothing happening here, baby. I got to get back where it's happening.
Yep.
I'm not so sure that was a busted play.
Well,
I'll tell you what, the way that Craig kind of took that long way around coming back in, if it was a fake, it was a darn good one.
First and 10 at the 42-yard line. Schrader throwing. The catch is made by Fernandez. He's dragged down at the 5-yard line by Albert Lewis.
Oh, and what a great shot you got of Schrader drilling that ball in between 2 defenders. Little man-for-man coverage on Lewis, and they've been testing Lewis all night, testing that knee, top of your screen. And Fernandez just gets a little bit of a step. He gives Lewis a little out move, and Schrader right on stride to Fernandez. Beautifully thrown pass by Schrader.
3 catches, 108 yards tonight for Mervin Fernandez, who has assumed the Willie Gault role. Raiders take a timeout. Normally it's Gault long, Fernandez more as the possession guy in the last couple of years, and Horton, the tight end, roams underneath. 3:01 to go. First and goal, LA, when we return. First and goal, LA from the 6. Schrader the fake. Schrader throws too low, intended for Smith. Chiefs this season have not given up more than 19 points in any one game. Right now, 18 is their yield.
It's pretty wise on the part of Schrader, because there was good coverage. Kevin Porter had Smith covered well, and Schrader would have had to risk quite a bit to get it into him. Down here, you don't want to come away with nothing. And the Chiefs have been notoriously tough down here.
Raiders by 8. Second and goal at the 6. Smith stopped by Martin. And again, keep in mind the Raiders this season, 1 rushing touchdown in 8 games plus whatever we played here tonight. Almost 3 quarters. And that touchdown scored by the now injured Bell.
We get a look there at Chris Martin. We're just about in his range for fumble returns.
Interesting, Kansas City has not allowed a team to score 20 points on them this year. The Raiders are threatening that.
Third and goal at the 5. Schrader fires, and it's dropped by Brown. Tim Brown couldn't handle it.
Well, Tim Brown, who
Everett might have got a hand on that. He acted as though he did. Number 39, Eric Everett was right there. He reached in just as the ball got to Tim Brown.
That's a major play, too. You score a touchdown, you're up by 15, which means the Chiefs would need more than 2 touchdowns. Right now, at least you'll hold the margin down to 11. Jager, 23-yard attempt, no problem. 2:09 left in the third. 3 more for the Raiders. Most points given up this season in any one game by the Chiefs. It is now 21-10. Weird way to get to 21. To 10. Schrader just marched them down for a field goal. Harvey Williams is the man in the middle, ready to accept this kick. Trying to gauge where Jager is going to boot it, in which direction. And he sends it straight down the middle to the 3. Williams hit it to 9, but gets it all the way back out to the 23-yard line. Dan Land again makes the tackle.
Harvey Williams never did go to the ground. I mean, this guy, if he doesn't get hurt, and if he continues to just show the steady improvement he's shown early in this football season, this guy has legitimate superstar written all over him. This guy should be a great player in this league for a long time.
An idea of how fast he is, because they use him back there on kickoffs, and he came into tonight leading the conference in kickoff returns, and he hasn't hurt himself a whole lot.
1:59 left in the third. First down. KC at the 24. Raiders by 11.
Look at Howie Long.
Quick catch made by Pete Holohan up to the 32-yard line. He's tackled by Tom Benson, a gain of 8.
Think Long got off the ball? I mean, that is how a defensive lineman anticipates a snap count and beats everybody. Howie Long is moving before anybody on the field. Look at that.
I think he's guessing with the count, Dan.
That's the only way to get off that fast. I mean, there's no other way. But he was right.
And it takes the experience to know when they're going to go on that same count.
2nd and 1. Here's Williams making the catch, and he stretches forward close to a first down, as you can see, up at the 34-yard line. As we widen out to include the marker.
I think he's gonna get the first, but he certainly is a better receiver. Number 89, Holohan.
1st and 10, KC from the 34-yard line. Here's Williams.
And it was Holohan's man who came down the line of scrimmage.
Winston Moss makes the tackle. Clock is running down. The Chiefs will not have to run a play.
Yeah, but you'd think they'd want to.
Yeah, you would, unless they can't wait to go the other way for some reason.
You notice that Harvey Williams has, for all intents and purposes, replaced Christian Okoye as the feature back, and I think that's a smart move by Marty Schottenheimer. Put the ball in the hands of the guy who can do something in one play.
Particularly when you're down by 11.
2nd and 8. Wobbly throw, and he's lucky it wasn't picked off. Intended for Rob Thomas, and in the neighborhood was Lionel Washington, who's already intercepted 5 this season. Winston Moss that time put heavy heat on DeBerg. Dangerous pass.
Now, he must have seen something I certainly didn't see from up here. I thought everybody was covered, and that is a pass that Terry McDaniel could have picked off and trotted home with relatively easily. There is Okoye and Bill Jones side by side on the sidelines. And at this stage of the ball game, the guy who is good for 4 or 5 yards isn't good enough.
McNair in the game, 3rd down and 8. The play clock down to 3. You're looking at the game clock.
Oh.
And a deep pass is incomplete, and that was a terrible pass because Washington was back there, and J.J. Burden wasn't even close. Into the quarter, Chiefs kick when we come back to start the 4th quarter. Washington shaken up into 3, 21-10. Which is caught by Tim Brown.
That's got to bring a flag there.
His head after I believe he had called for the fair catch.
Oh, he did.
And Todd McNair said, I never saw it.
That doesn't count.
Yeah.
He gave it a pretty good wave. There it is. That's all you got to do.
And the problem is you saw the 2 Raiders there who moved out of the picture to the left. They were harassing McNair all the way down the field, and McNair, he really didn't see Brown signal the fair catch. But that's still not good enough. Once he makes that signal, he's entitled to protection.
With the opportunity, 15 yards from the spot, 1st down.
That is a brutal penalty.
But it's incumbent upon that man coming down to be aware of that signal.
Well, it's a bad set of circumstances. You're trying to fight. Here, look at McNair trying to fight his way through 2 guys. He's trying to make sure he doesn't get blocked. And you could actually see him look back up for the ball over his shoulder at the moment Brown signaled the fair catch.
That's where he lost it.
It's just a bad set of circumstances for that guy McNair.
That's one time you don't want to keep your eye on the ball.
Yeah, and a good break for the Raiders.
1st down LA up at their 43. Opening seconds, 4th quarter, Los Angeles by 11. Craig can't get out of the backfield. He was initially stopped by Derek Thomas, and then Sally Amua wraps him up. Numbers through 3 quarters of play. Ready to appear. Raiders still with the edge in total yardage. Big pass plays. Not much on the ground for LA, and a lot less on the ground than Kansas City had hoped.
85 for Kansas City rushing. This is not indicative of their game at all.
And I think an overall lack of continuity by the Kansas City offense.
Everything is out of sync for them tonight. And the Raiders will do that to you.
2nd and 14. Catch is made by Brown up at the 45-yard line. If you're just joining us and you see the score looks very conventional, 21-10, but the Raiders get there in the most unconventional way. Field goal, safety, touchdown with a missed extra point. Touchdown, field goal, 21-10 LA.
And the way that the Kansas City offense has moved the ball tonight, I guess you have to credit guys like Howie Long a great deal.
Does he look like a Raider or not? Socks torn.
He is the Raiders right now.
That's a Raider manicure. 3rd and 8 from the 45.
Beats a cutlass every time.
And Schrader may have had his arm hit as he threw it. Pass is incomplete. Chris Martin came charging in, and the pass was in the vicinity of no one. 4th down.
What a year Martin's having. 100-yard return of a fumble against Miami. A lot of pressures right here, forcing Schrader to throw the ball actually away.
Jeff Gossett the punt. Chiefs have 10 men on the line, and they all come, and there's a pass, and the pass is caught by Elvis Patterson. And Patterson, the former Giant cornerback, and now a special team star for the Raiders, has just starred on special teams.
You know, I don't know why somebody from the Chiefs was not out there in front of Patterson. Did he come off the bench late or something? Did they not see that he was out there? Ordinarily, they have a man in front of the 2 deep men that go downfield. There was nobody there. Probably something that the Raiders had picked up on a play when the Chiefs are trying to block the punt, that they do not cover the outside men. And it wasn't pretty, but it was effective, and no one is near Patterson.
That is an amateurish mistake on the part of the special teams of the Kansas City Chiefs.
1st and 10 at the 21-yard line. Craig exploits the hole and exploits the situation by giving LA a 1st and goal at the 7-yard line.
That is the type of a mistake that can deflate a football team's spirit.
Yeah, Craig just rocketed through that hole, and a big hole it was. Nobody even touched him at the line of scrimmage. And
well, look at that block there by Mosbar, who puts Dino Hackett right on his back. Don Mosbar, the great all-pro center of the Raiders. This is where Kansas City has been tough, but let's see if there's a change in their attitude after that back-breaking play.
1st and goal. Smith checking with Schrader.
that's the way the Raiders changed the play.
Yeah. Now they line up in the eye, and they give it to Craig, and he gets a yard after all that.
It's not as deceptive as sending a fax.
Well, you know what? It beats a timeout.
It does.
They're still talking about it.
Nobody ever accused them of being pretty. They're just effective.
The Raiders in no hurry.
See this on almost every play here.
Tracy Simeon there with a little leg work.
2nd and goal. Schrader has it tipped at the goal line and incomplete, and a flag comes down. Goff, the intended receiver. Pearson was covering, and the ball was tipped at the goal line.
I'm not. Almost looked like Galt was the one who interfered with Pearson. Yeah,
Correct.
That's what it was. Pearson looked like he had a chance to maybe intercept that thing, and it was Galt who came up and hit him from behind.
I think what the Raiders are saying is that the pass was tipped. The pass was tipped at the goal line. And that could change the call.
There is no offensive pass interference on the play. The reason being the ball was tipped prior.
Right.
Therefore, it's just an incomplete pass.
Okay.
3rd down.
Yeah, Dino Hackett gets a hand on it. That's the tip, and that's the interference you see on the Raiders, Willie Galt. But once that ball is tipped, that changes the scenario altogether.
3rd down and goal now at the 6. 11:21 remaining in regulation. 21-10 Raiders. Schrader has it picked off at the 2-yard line by Lloyd Burris. Burris to the 30. He's out in front. He's chased by Brown. Brown got screened off, but Brown comes back to knock him down at the 13-yard line. But the complexion of the game completely changed on one play.
And no flags are down. Burris, the former Pro Bowl safety, does not have the great speed that he used to. 11-year veteran was run down, but he has turned this game around.
I'll tell you, I didn't realize Schrader was that fast either.
Well, not so much that he was fast. It was Burris looked like he was running in mud that last 30 yards. But take a look at it again. I don't think, no way Schrader even saw Burris.
A not very pretty pass by Jay Schrader. See, there's Timmy Brown, one of the fastest men on the field. But look at Schrader go. I mean, look at Jay Schrader, who in a sense cuts off the middle of the field.
Here's Harvey Williams taking it to the 11 on a 1st down play, making it 2nd down and 6. Well, Lloyd Burris has had a magnificent career, but in recent times he's been relegated to spot duty.
He cut himself at the conclusion of that play. He's bleeding from the forehead.
Many times a Pro Bowler, Lloyd Burris is a starter. Lost his job to Kevin Porter, but still puts in a great play for the Chiefs
First
Send
interception
right back
of the
into it.
season for him. 2nd down and 7. Harvey Williams takes it to the 4-yard line. Tom Benson makes the hit. And enough for a first down.
Just zone blocking on the part of the Chiefs offensive line. They just all took the man outside their left shoulder and gave Williams an opportunity to make the cut. What speed he has. With the size, 6'2", 222.
This has been a Hall of Fame night for interception returns.
Sure is.
Burris's 83 yards. 1st and goal at the 4. 9:45 to go. Williams goes next to nowhere. Half a yard or so.
Harvey Williams on the carry.
Dorn and Moss stop him. 21-10. Raiders on top.
Here comes Okoye is coming back in, and they're bringing the short yardage offense in. But with Kansas City, it doesn't negate the possibility of play action. They've been moving the ball with Williams on the ground, and nobody hides it like Steve DeBerg.
It's safe to say that guy won't be covered. He's only caught 2 passes all year.
Remember in Denver when DeBerg stuck one in his face mask?
That was in Denver.
2nd and goal. The fake. DeBerg throws, tipped, and nearly intercepted, and then nearly caught. Ricky Ellison pounds his helmet into the turf, and Pete Holohan almost came up with a deflection. 3rd and goal.
It's 3rd and goal from the 3.
Now out come 4 wide receivers and McNair for Kansas City.
We have seen some poor quarterback decisions down on the goal line here on successive series. Just Jay Schrader didn't get away with it the way Steve DeBerg just did. And I don't think Ricky Ellison would have taken that as far as Burris.
3rd and goal. Fake the inside give, and they do give it to McNair. Tremendous fake, and McNair takes it
He's not in
to
though.
just short of the goal line.
It'll be 4th down. You got to go for it. You got to go for it.
Now the nightmare comes back on Okoye.
What an unbelievable ball handling job. It never ceases with DeBerg.
Well, see, he actually moves past him, and the ball comes back in. Lionel Washington wasn't fooled, made the tackle, but here's the play of the game for KC.
4th and goal. Okoye is the tailback. Jones the fullback. They give it to Okoye going laterally, and he's in.
Well, that is probably the least likely thing you would expect. Okoye going east and west instead of north and south. But it works. The Chiefs are back in it.
Jerry Robinson, the old veteran linebacker for the Raiders, reads it and ends up making the hit, but the big man ends up in the end zone. Watch Jerry Robinson. There he is, number 57. He fights off the block of Alt. He gets to the outside of Jones and cuts Okoye, but Okoye gets across the goal line with the football.
That's all he could have done. If he'd have taken Okoye on straight, he would have carried him out of the back of the end zone.
Lowry for the point after.
Good effort, big man.
Art Shell said before the game, one of the keys is to get this guy going laterally. Well, it's a key now to keeping Kansas City, who scraped his now bloodied right elbow, has that wrapped as he goes in for the touchdown here.
Well, he took a lot of hide off, and just mentioning to Dan a moment ago, this will get well sometime in February.
That's the underneath the elbow of Christian Okoye.
Lowry to kick off. The Raider lead is now 4. Fielded up at the 14 by Sam Grady, who moves forward to the 26-yard line. Raiders have it there. They lead 21-17. 7:58 left in regulation in Kansas City.
Started this with the World Series. It's been going on here for quite some time. But I just hope it's not contagious.
Well,
enough already.
Excitement is now contagious in the stadium because Lloyd Burris' interception and subsequent Kansas City touchdown has made it a tight one when it looked like the Raiders were about ready to write a climax to it. Craig carries for 3. It'll be 2nd down and 7. That much time remaining in the 4th quarter. Again, Denver leads the division 6-2. Each of these teams 5-3, and either Al Davis's Raiders or the Chiefs will be a halfback. The other team will be a game and a half behind. 2nd and 7. Flag down. Looked like Smith came across the line. Smith makes the catch, and then there's another flag thrown on the other side of the field.
You wait and see if maybe they don't snag Steve Wright, the right tackle, for a false start. There was a quiver there.
I'll leave it to an old tackle to spot a quiver.
Well, it was. I'm not saying that it was unequivocal. But it was,
knock it off.
I thought I saw a flinch. There's an old tackle on the right.
Don't equivocate.
Okay.
Tom White and his crew.
Must have been just barely a quiver.
It's a tick. What's the deal?
We have a false start. Number 66, offense, 5 yards prior to the snap. We have a 5-yard face mask, which will be disregarded if there is no foul. Just a 5-yard false start.
Face mask is disregarded because there was no play in essence once you had the false start.
That's exactly right, Al. Here is Steve Wright. He's on the end of the line. You see that little move right there. That's enough to simulate the start of a play. From that point in time, nothing happened. There's the face mask at the end of a play that never happened.
So that little quiver negates a 26-yard gain.
And look out!
And Schrader, it's all he can do to hold on to the football.
Now the man who caused the quiver on the last play came around the horn and was there once again. Derek Thomas with the great speed. Another flag's down.
I think you got to give Jay Schrader a great deal of credit for holding on to that football. Look at this.
When he lost it with the right hand and caught it with the left hand.
Oh, you can't underestimate how nice that is by Schrader. That's a type of a play, I think, where 9 out of 10 quarterbacks in this league end up fumbling the football. 2 separate times he had to fight to regain control. And again, we have a conference.
We have a continuing action foul, personal foul, number 58, 15 yards.
For what?
First down.
Continuing action, meaning after the play?
It had to be after Schrader was down. Something must have happened after Thomas gave the hatchet chop, because that's perfectly legal. He was going for the football, and that is legal.
Well, he was tied up with Wisniewski after the play, I think. There's Thomas down on. See his right leg sticking up?
Wisniewski's trying to take it off.
Oh, there's it. There it is.
Yeah.
It's a right to the face.
That is his reaction to Wisniewski.
Yeah, it was a right hand to the face.
And what a penalty, too,
Yes.
because here's Craig to the 32. Instead of it being 3rd and a mile, it's 1st and 10, and Martin makes the stop. Big, big, big penalty.
But again, it's kind of incumbent upon Derek Thomas to know whoever reacts to something like that, he is the one that's going to draw the flag. And you just got to kind of save it for later.
It wasn't much, but you don't slap a guy in the face and expect to not have some yellow flying. It's just going to happen.
Well, earlier they had a very big penalty assessed when Neil Smith roughed Schrader, leading to Raider points. This is a very big one, especially in light of the time remaining. Schrader's going to keep. He doesn't do this very often, but he does it with some effectiveness, and then gets banged down as Thomas chases him from behind. At the 38, and we've got a flag down again, but not at the end of the play. It's near the line of scrimmage.
Well, I saw somebody get tackled back at the line of scrimmage, and that's what the call is going to be. I think Sally Amua is the guy that got hauled to the ground.
6 offense, 10 yards, still 2nd down.
That's Wisniewski, the The player that actually was involved with Derek Thomas, the player that Thomas turned around and slapped, I think that time he tackled Dan Saliamua.
They say they never even things up, and I presume they didn't.
Well, there was a blatant hold.
Isn't there always?
Yeah.
2nd and 21 from the 21. Schrader's throw intended for the bent over backwards Horton is incomplete.
Horton broke to the outside, and by all appearances, Jay Schrader thought he was breaking to the inside. That's a sight adjustment where Horton is looking at the defense, reacts one way, and he reacted oppositely of what Jay Schrader saw.
Carl Peterson, who is the man who has pretty much helped to rebuild this team and get him to the playoffs last year.
Big time play coming up as he looks down on the field. Big play for Kansas City's defense.
Carl had his coat on a while ago.
3rd and 21. Schrader slings it out for Craig, but he stopped well short of the first down at the 31-yard line. So it's 4th down. J.C. Pearson and Albert Lewis converge on the hit, and we're down to 5:03 remaining as Bill Cowher's defensive unit will get the ball back for Kansas City. Neil Smith comes off. Gossett comes in to kick for Shell's Race.
They don't even get set up to make the effort.
Stratford at the 23. And a nice run back by Troy out to the 42-yard line.
That was a nice run back.
Nifty run by the former Miami Dolphin. The Chiefs picked up Plan B, broke his arm in training camp as owner Lamar Hunt looks on.
And Kansas City at its own 42, 4:32 left in regulation, 21-17 Raiders. DeBerg fires over the middle, nearly picked off by Ladd. Instead it winds up in Holohan's hands. First down. And Ronnie Lott almost had his 4th big interception in the last 3 games.
He played it perfectly, Al. He timed it perfectly, and he just didn't control it. And the sure-handed Houlihan was lying on the carpet, and he was able to make the completion. Lott laying back, playing that center field, timed it beautifully.
And they give it to Williams and let him take it to the 27-yard line. Harvey Williams. First down.
You talk about an explosive start for a big man. At 6'2", 222 pounds, you haven't seen much better than this. I agree. This is a big time in the making right here. This youngster is,
well, that was
a great runner.
That was tremendous blocking, too. What a huge hole.
David Lutz helped provide it. Williams to the 24. Now the situation is this, and again, I say this with some hesitancy after that debacle in the first half. We think each team has 2 timeouts remaining, but don't go to the bank on it. In fact, don't even go to an SNL with it.
They're not open until the morning anyway. You know what I'm thinking back to right now?
Those that continue to open.
I'm thinking back to the first half when the Chiefs didn't attempt a Lowry field goal from 45 yards. Be 21-20 now.
2nd and 6. And a tremendous catch is somehow made by Freddie Jones, his first catch of the night, and Lionel Washington is there to bring him down. They spot the ball at the 22 and brings up a very big 3rd and 5.
That was an NFL throw, an NFL catch, and NFL coverage. That was good stuff.
Houlihan comes out, and Jonathan Hayes comes in at tight end. You presume Hayes in there to block.
3rd and 5. They have to get to the 17. And Williams gets to about the 17 and a half.
Whoa.
Eddie Anderson, well, they're going to spot it right there. It looks like they will give him a spot which will provide a first down.
Well, that's across the field from the change, and they're going to have to bring him across Marcus Allen, saying you gave him too much.
I think they gave him a very favorable spot. The official chains are on the other side of the field, so they'll bring those over. That chain there is a visual aid.
Have you noticed, though, over the course of this game, how hard it is to knock Harvey Williams off his feet? First down. I mean, Eddie Anderson came knifing into Williams' legs, I think fully expecting him to go to the ground, and he never did go to the ground. And I think, Al, you used the word favorable, and I would too.
Yep.
He didn't appear to have it by that look. That looked to be a very fortunate spot for the Chiefs.
Clock will stop at the 2-minute warning, and then they have 2 timeouts left, so plenty of time, all the time the Chiefs need. 1st and 10 at the 17-yard line, and they give it to the rookie Williams, and he takes it to the 17, and that takes us to the 2-minute warning. Wild finish coming up from Kansas City, where the Raiders man and how he has been responsible in good measure for the last 2 Raider wins, and he and his defensive unit right now are responsible for preserving a Raider victory. 2 minutes to go. 2nd down, 10. Kansas City at the 17. 2 timeouts left for the Chiefs. Raiders up by 4. Movement, but no flag. Low throw to the 8-yard line, caught by Thomas. The Raiders say no, the officials say yes. Spotted at the 9. Shell says, give me a break.
Well, it was thrown low, but Thomas had both arms on the carpet, and it looked like he did scoop it up. Let's take a look, a good angle. Oh, I don't know how you could turn it over, but that was very, very close, and I'm sure they'll look.
They'll look at it, but that sure looked like a good catch to me.
It's an 8-yard gain. If it stands, it's going to make it 3rd and 2.
Thomas didn't try to pull it off the carpet. He had both arms apparently underneath it.
Ruling on the field. It's a completed forward pass.
They're going to rule it completed.
Being reviewed.
Well, I don't think you could turn that over. He had both arms protecting it from the carpet. Great effort by Rob Thomas.
Again, indisputable visual evidence to overturn.
That's the key. I'm sure if you're a Raider fan, you're going, well, what are those guys talking about? Didn't you see that ball bounce off the turf?
Joe Pendry, the offensive coordinator, and Marty Schottenheimer. Pendry with Marty Schottenheimer at Cleveland, as was the defensive coordinator.
After further review, the play stands as called. Completed pass. Third down.
If you're a Raider fan, you think the ball bounced twice.
Yeah. But that is really the only ruling you could expect. Certainly no evidence was offered up there that conclusively could turn it over.
3rd down 2 at the 9.
Boy, this is a typical Monday nighter, isn't it?
DeBurr into the end zone, flag down, catch made at the 1. Freddie Jones covered by Washington. Washington clapping his hands as if it's going to be offensive interference.
There was contact, but a lot of contact made.
Whoa!
Against Freddie Jones. But it did not look that bad. I'll tell you, they bounced off of each other and didn't look like it was anything that Jones did intentionally. Just the bumping that you ordinarily would get.
When you're down near the goal line, you got to tighten up. That's what Lionel Washington is doing right here.
Pass interference. Offense, number 80. 10 yards. 3rd down.
Boy, I'll tell you
now from that angle, we didn't see anything. I mean, the only thing we couldn't see with his right arm. I mean, did Jones push off with his right arm? All right, here they come into our picture. There's Washington. Here's Jones. Tough to see from there. Man, I'm telling you what.
Oof. Well, when you're down, as you said, Dan, when you're down close to the goal line, you are going to play it very tight, and you're going to have that incidental contact. And that looked to me as though it was incidental contact, just that.
They're checking, I think, for the spot of the ball here.
I mean, I just let them check the spot all they want. Where do they see Fred Jones pushing off? I mean,
well, I'm just saying that the reason for the delay on the
Right.
field right now. I mean, this is done. That's a done deal. That's a fait accompli.
They can't review that. I mean,
no, that's not reviewable. But my God, woo.
Boy, Marty is hot too.
Well, I think he's got reason to be.
Well, he had a good look at it. He knew what was going to happen.
Call. There's offensive pass interference. There's nothing for a replay to review.
Exactly.
We know that. Well, that is a fortuitous break for the Raiders. And it's a shame for Fred Jones because I didn't see it.
3rd down and 12 at the 19-yard line. DeBerg from the shotgun. Drops the ball. And then throws, and he hits McNair, and he takes it to the 11-yard line, where it's going to be 4th down. And let's call it 4 with 1:01 left. Kansas City's going to take a timeout. Mike Jones makes his first tackle of the night, and Kansas City spends its second timeout. So they have 1 remaining, but more importantly, when we come back, 4th and 3, and the Chiefs must convert to stay in the game.
Wednesday, there's food from Granny.
Now eat this or I'll kill you.
And food for Franny.
Aren't you hungry? Your appetizer is getting cold.
On dinosaurs.
There.
Let's moon somebody. Good idea.
It was time to take our rightful place among men of the road.
Moon Patrol!
For Wonder Years. And on Doogie Howser, MD.
Wanda's back in town.
I've been gone a long time. Too long. Look good.
Get along, little Doogie. Get over that Wednesday hump.
DeBerg with the last-second instructions as to the play call here on 4th down and a short 4 at the 11. They have to get just inside the 8. 1:01 remaining. Raiders by 4. DeBerg to McNair. First down. And Kansas City now elects to use its final timeout.
Well, I'm not so sure that's the place I would have used it.
No, I wouldn't either here. You've got 4 shots at the end zone, but you can't stop the clock.
McNair, so often they use him on 3rd and short yardage. This time he was set up not in the backfield, but as a wingback. Very talented receiver. And he is focused on one thing. Let me get that first down. And he gives it that second effort, and he comes up with it.
See, I think one of the reasons Kansas City had to use the timeout there is that they have such a radical personnel difference between what they run on first down and what they run in a situation like that, that I guess they just didn't feel there was any way they could get to the line of scrimmage and run a running play. And I think that forced them to take the timeout because that just didn't strike me as a place to use it.
Well, they have plenty of time. They're not in any time problem.
4 shots at the end zone. DeBerg throws wide open is Barnett.
DeBerg paid the price. He held on until Barnett uncovered. And down he went. Scott Davis.
A pretty nice little pick play. You got a variation of the pick here, Frank.
We see a lot of it. Particularly down when the defensive back has to play tight on the receiver. And here comes Barnett. And he has got Lionel Washington with him. He lets him go.
And the Raiders tie up on the slot man. And Steve DeBerg is driven into the ground by Scott Davis.
Lowry for the point after. 24-21, and the Raiders get the ball back with 47 seconds and 2 timeouts.
And keep in mind, a field goal sends us into OT.
And into the next decade.
They only need a field goal to tie it.
This one you would think would be so short. Both teams running the ball, particularly Kansas City, and this one of the longest we've had of the year.
Tim Grunhard, the center, celebrates along with 80,000 of his closest friends.
Well, that man made big plays the last 2 weeks, and tonight, in a game of a lot of big plays, the biggest is Lloyd Burris's interception and 83-yard run back when the Raiders were marching and had a chance to wrap the game up. That swung it.
And I think Marty Schottenheimer is discussing what's offensive pass interference and what's not.
He's lecturing, as a matter of fact.
It worked out just fine for Kansas City.
He was discussing it with Dick Creed, the side judge who made the call. He's probably also trying to figure out how many timeouts the Raiders have after that first half debacle.
They'll get as many as they need.
Yeah, right.
Both the Raiders and the Chiefs are chasing Denver, and Denver, because of their finish a year ago, has a rather easy schedule, and it's incumbent upon them to stay close to the Denver Broncos. And of course, Chiefs and the Raiders will meet on the final game of the season in Los Angeles.
Lowry to kick it. Grady and Holland back to receive. 47 ticks left. KC by 3. Grady fumbles it, recovers it. Takes it to the 24. Clock stops with 43 seconds.
Ooh.
Tracy Rogers makes the hit. Lloyd Burris is there as well.
I think Grady was fortunate he held on. He bobbled it the first time, and so often you see the fumble that follows that. And he got control of it. He was really hit.
The one guy I would want to be right now is the guy in the white shirt who draws the unlucky assignment of trying to keep Derek Thomas from the quarterback. That guy has to work, and work hard.
On first down, Brown has it through his hands, intercepted by Deron Cherry.
Cherry very wisely settles down, avoiding any possibility of a fumble, and a scuffle has broken out.
And flags come down.
All after the play. '48th career interception for Deron Cherry. And he gets it off this, in and out of the hands of number 81. That's Timmy Brown.
After the play is over, we have offsetting personal fouls. Number 76 from Los Angeles. Personal foul. Number 58 on the Kansas City Chiefs. Penalties all set. First down.
Art Shell knew coming to Arrowhead that beating the Chiefs was going to be a tall order. They play much better here than they do on the road. The bad news for Kansas City is that 5 of their next 7 are on the road.
And they close the season at San Francisco and at the Raiders.
Couple of kneel downs. The Raiders can stop the clock twice.
This franchise here in Kansas City has just seen a remarkable turnaround since Carl Peterson and Marty Schottenheimer got here, and it just continues tonight.
Raiders have elected not to prolong the agony. They can stop it twice, but that's all, and then the Chiefs can run the clock out, and they'll just get on the charter and head west. Take a week off and reconvene with Marcus Allen in uniform in Denver. And the Chiefs will take a week off as well, a half game back of Denver in the AFC West.
And they will party.